We're all familiar with the various catalogs for deep sky objects. There's many of them, but have you ever been confused about why they overlap and objects are in multiple catalogs, and where did the catalogs come from and why did they make them? Well, I have, so I decided to do some research, and this is what I've come up with. One of the first created was the Messier catalog. It was put together by Charles Messier, a French astronomer, and with the return of Halley's Comet, he decided that he wanted to look for more comets in the night sky. He found himself going back and finding the same objects over and over again, and to help get rid of some of the confusion, he started making note of each object as he found it. His first entry was in August of 1758, when he found a small cloudy object in the constellation of Taurus. He started his journal, and this journal finally became known as the Messier Catalog, or the Messier Album. There are 110 deep space objects in his catalog. Charles Messier was born in Bondivere, France in June of 1730, and he passed away in Paris in 1817. In 1786, the Astronomical Catalogue of Nebulae was created by William Herschel with the assistance of his sister Caroline Herschel. It was later expanded into the General Catalogue of Nebulae and Clusters of Stars with the help of his son John Herschel. In the 1880s, John Dreyer updated John and William Herschel's catalog for the Royal Astronomical Society. He added more than 1,000 new objects and then created his new catalog named the New General Catalogue of Nebula and Clusters of Stars, or NGC, which contains about 7,840 deep sky objects, including galaxies, star clusters, emission nebula, absorption, and dark nebula. Soon after the NGC's publication, the advent of photography allowed astronomers to discover thousands of more celestial objects very, very quickly. In 1895, Dreyer published 2 supplementary catalogs of recently discovered objects. These supplements are known today as the Index Catalogs, or IC. The IC contains an additional 5,386 objects. Both the NGC and IC objects are in wide use today and contain a wealth of fainter deep sky objects. John Dreyer was born in Copenhagen, Denmark in February of 1852 and passed away in September of 1926 in Oxford, United Kingdom. In 1993 to 2017, professional and amateur photographers collaborated to augment and update the NGC and IC catalogs. They corrected mistakes in the original 19th and 20th century text, added images, and inserted the latest astronomical data for each object. In 1915, British astronomer Philbert Melotte published a catalogue of star clusters that has later become known as the Melotte Catalogue. This catalogue contains 245 star clusters and is also known as the Melotte 20. Melotte was born in London, England in January of 1880 and passed away in March 1961 in Abinger, England. Due to the limits of the telescopes of the day, many early 20th century observers overlooked mysterious objects that are now known as dark nebula. American astronomer Edward Barnard was among the first to begin exploring these dark clouds that he observed in the photographs of the sky. In 1919, he published the Barnard Catalogue of Dark Markings in the Sky. The catalog originally included 182 objects, but has grown to 369 by 1927. Edward Barnard was born in Nashville, Tennessee in December of 1957. He passed away in Williams Bay, Wisconsin in February of 1923. While working as the principal observer at the Palomar Observatory Sky Survey, George Abell put together and published his Abell Catalogue of Rich Clusters and Galaxies. The original catalog included 2,712 objects, representing a complete survey of the night sky as possible from Palomar. To To be included in his catalog, an object had to meet Abell's various criteria for a rich cluster of galaxies, including a minimum of about 30 galaxies in a compact counting radius. The Abell catalog is still used today. George Abell was born in Los Angeles, California in March of 1927. He passed away in Los Angeles on October of 1983. Stuart Sharpless published his final version of his famous nebula catalog in 1959. His catalog contains images that, unlike the objects found in something like the Messier catalog, which can be seen with a pair of binoculars or even the naked eye, the objects in the Sharpless catalog require modern telescopes and modern photography techniques and long-term exposures. Many of the brightest and most beautiful items in the Milky Way sky form regions in the Sharpless catalog. It contains 313 objects and are mostly in the northern hemisphere. There's a counterpart for objects in the southern hemisphere that was published by Alex Rogers. The Sharpless catalog is designated as SH2. Stuart Sharpless passed away in January of 2013. In the mid-20th century, astronomer Beverly Lynds undertook a study of looking at prints from the Palomar Observatory Sky Atlas. She was looking for nebula, and she recorded each one according to its brightness, color, size, and location in the sky. In 1962, she released Lynds' Catalog of Dark Nebula, or the LDN. The catalog contains the positions for the centers of dark nebula or clouds that she found, the cloud sizes in square degrees, and estimates of their opacity and cross-identifications to the Barnard objects. 3 years later, she used the same data to compile Lynds' Catalog of Bright Nebula, or LBN, to complement the LDN catalog. In the 1960s and 70s, astronomer Peters Nielsen of the Astronomical Observatory of Uppsala, Sweden, was examining prints also from the Palomar Sky Survey. He was doing this in order to compile a list of individual galaxies. The Uppsala General Catalogue of Galaxies, or UGC, was published in 1973 and is essentially a complete catalog of galaxies visible from the northern hemisphere, with a diameter of 1 arc-minute or more. It contains over 12,920 galaxies, descriptions of each, and its surrounding areas. Nielsen was born in Sweden in 1937 and passed away in March of 1998. In 1983, with the advent of computers, astronomers at the Lynds Observatory in France began compiling an electronic database of extragalactic objects that lie outside the Milky Way galaxy, and they called this the Lynds-Meudon Extragalactic Database, or LEDA. Each object in the database was named in the Catalog of Principal Galaxies, PGC. When it was first published, the PGC contained about 73,000 extragalactic objects. The LEDA has been continuously updated since 1983 and merged with another online database in 2000 to become the Hyper LEDA, which contains about 5 million objects. The PGC naming system was discontinued after about 1.7 million objects, so millions of objects in the database only use the numeric PGC identifier. Sir Patrick Alfred Caldwell Moore was an English amateur astronomer known for studying the moon and creating the Caldwell Catalogue. This catalog contains 109 star clusters, nebula, and galaxies. Caldwell designed his catalog to complement the Messier catalog. It features some notable northern hemisphere objects that Messier does not include and adds some deep sky objects from the southern hemisphere. Caldwell was born in Penner, United Kingdom in 1923, and he passed away December 2012 in Chelsea, United Kingdom. Well, thank you for watching. If you found this informative, feel free to give me a like. If you'd like to see more, I'd surely appreciate it if you'd subscribe. And as always, until next time, clear skies.